What does that even mean, Bauer's Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review. Today I'm very excited to be checking out Star Realms from White Wizard Games. This is for 2 or more players if you have more copies of the game. It'll take about 20 minutes to play, and it's for ages 12 and up. And in Star Realms, this is a deck building game where you are going to be purchasing ships and bases and worlds and trying to destroy your opponent and take away all of their health points. But be wary, they're going to be trying to do the same thing to you. Sound intriguing? Let's open it up and see how it works. Alright then, we're going to be taking a look at what you're going to get inside of Star Realms. So first and foremost, we got a handy dandy rule sheet. It is 1 page, double-sided. It's a very thoroughly done, well done rule booklet. It'll have you up and running in no time at all. And if you've played a deck builder, you probably will be instantly familiar with the mechanics in this game. Also, they include another sheet, which is it has a list of the cards, but more importantly, it shows you how to play 3, 4, 5, 6 player games. But be forewarned, in order to do this, you're going to need more copies of the game. So in order to use this, you're essentially going to have another copy of the game, at least. So in this game, what you're trying to do is you're trying to crush and destroy your opponent. You are trying to take away all of their life points, which are going to be maintained on these double-sided cards that will have 5, 1, 10, and 20 on them. And you're going to start out with a set number of health points. They have a recommended one, but one great thing about this game is you can start off with whatever number you want, and you can potentially even handicap for people who are new to the game, so they can start off with more health points than you. So we started this game off, we're going to start off with 40 health points, and you are going to be keeping track of your health points down here in front of you like so. You're also going to start off the game with a preset deck of cards, just like a deck builder. You're going to start off with Vipers, and you're going to start off with Scouts. Scouts are going to give you 1 coin when they come up in your hand, and Vipers are going to do 1 point of damage to your opponent when they come up to your hand. So essentially, that would essentially knock off 1 of their points of health. So what you're going to do when you start up the game is you're going to shuffle all your cards and put them in front of you. And on your turn, you are going to be able to draw 5 cards from your deck. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You take a look at them, see what we got going on here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coins. We lucked out. Well, we might have lucked out. So 5 coins, which means we're going to take a look at what we were able to purchase. Now, the thing about this game that's different from some other deck builders is that you are going to have a row of cards out here that will be completely random. You're going to shuffle up all of these ship and base cards, and you are going to deal 5 them out on the board. You're going to be able to purchase these if you have enough money. You can purchase as many cards as you want on your turn, and when you purchase something, they are immediately replaced. So let's take a look at some of these cards, and before we get too much further, we're going to go over what the 4 types of cards are in the game. The first kind of cards are yellow cards. So this is the Imperial Frigate. Up here we have the name of the card. Right here is how many coins it's going to cost. So it's going to cost you 3 coins. Also, it's yellow, but in addition to yellow, it's also going to have this little symbol right here. And what this card is going to do, it's going to target opponent is going to discard a card. So essentially, they would have 5 cards, and now when you play this card and say, I'm going to do this to you, they are only going to have 4 cards. So they're going to have to get rid of one of their cards when they first start their hand, which is going to stink. Also, if you were able to play down another yellow card on your turn, in addition to this one is going to unlock 2 more points of damage. So instead of doing 4 points of damage, it would do 6 points of damage. The one last thing on this card is this little trash can symbol here, which a lot of the cards will have this option. So if you want to get rid of this card, completely get rid of it, so it's not going to go back into your hand, you can trash this card, set it over to the side, get it out of the game, and you right now get to draw an additional card. You also get all the stuff listed on here as well, but in addition you get to draw another card. So let's just do a quick little example right here. Let's just say I played both these cards. So my opponent is going to discard a card. I am going to get to draw a card myself. I'm going to have 1 coin. My opponent's going to take 4 plus 2 damage, so 6 damage. And then, in addition, I also have the option to make him discard another card, so he'd be down to 3 cards, and I would get to draw another card. But if I did that, I would have to trash both these cards, and I would lose both of them. So the yellow cards are going to be all about manipulating your deck to draw extra cards, or manipulating your opponent's deck to make them discard cards. The next kind of cards you're going to have are red cards. And red cards are all about trashing cards that are in your hand or your discard pile. Because when you start the game, these aren't too bad. But once you start getting to mid to late game, you don't want to see these, and in particular these, in your hand because they're going to be really, really crummy. Because you're going to be getting way better cards as this game progresses. So the red cards are going to allow you to trash cards either in your hand or in your discard pile. Your discard pile is going to be over here. They're going to be face up, and that's where you're going to be putting cards that you've already played. So yes. So this card is going to be worth $2 whenever you play it. It's going to cost you $3, and you may scrap a card that's either in your hand, so it would be in here, so you could get rid of this card, or in your discard pile. So if you had cards in your discard pile right here, you could play this and say, I'm going to get rid of this, and completely trash it. Also, if you have another red card, it's going to do 2 damage. So if you had 2 red cards, you'd get 2 coins, and you'd get to do 2 damage. So the red cards are all about trashing the cards in your hand or in your discard pile. The green cards are all about attacking. These are the blobs. This one's going to cost you 4, as listed up there. This one is going to do 6 damage, so that is really going to pack a punch. Also, if you have an additional green card that you play down, you may destroy a target base and or scrap a card in the trade road. So once again, if you see a card out here and you're like, man, I really don't want my opponent to do that, then you can potentially get rid of that card from this row and replace it with another card. So it says a base. We'll get more into what a base and a ship are in a second. So fourth, let's get to the final suit, which is the blue cards. So the blue cards are going to be all about gaining you money and, more importantly, health back. So for instance, if you played this card, you're going to gain 4 health points, and you're going to get $2. So you'd be able to flip this from a 1 to a 5, which would be really cool. Also, if you have another blue card with you, you'll be able to do 4 damage. Also, it's going to cost you 2. So blue is going to be all about gaining health and gaining money a lot of the time. There's one more card you have the option to purchase, and you always have the option to purchase these cards. These are called the Explorer, and these are going to be worth 2 coins whenever they come up, and when you decide that you're done with this card, you can destroy it and do 2 damage to your opponent. So you're still going to get your 2 coins, but you're also going to be able to do 2 damage to your opponent. So let's just run through a mock hand so you can see exactly how this is going to work, and then we'll get into what exactly a base and a ship are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get back down to it. So we lay down this. We're going to be doing 1 damage over to our opponent, so they would lose 1 point of their health, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. So I really believe it's very important to scrap cards in your hand, so I would say, all right, I'm going to spend 1 of my coins on this. I'd put that over into my discard pile, and then I would instantly replace that card with another card. Now, I still have 3 coins to spend, and I'd say, you know what, I'm going to also get this survey ship because I like the fact it lets me draw a card, and it's going to give me a little bit of money. So I've spent my 4 coins. That guy's taken his 1 point of damage. I'd put all the cards I used into my discard pile over here, and then I would draw back up to 5 cards, and then my opponent would take their turn. Oops, I almost forgot to replace this card right here. And you're going to continue doing that until someone runs completely out of health. But there's more. Let's tell you about the ships and about the bases. All these cards that are standing up like this, that are, vertical, are what's called ships. These are just ships, and they'll say ship, ship. Each and every one of them is going to say ship. However, some of them will be horizontal like this, and these are what are called bases, and these have special cool abilities. So, as I mentioned earlier, what you're going to do every time once you play the hands in your cards is you're going to put them in your discard pile. However, once you purchase these and they eventually get into your hand and you play them, you're going to keep these out here in front of you, like so. And what these are going to do are these are going to give you a special ability as long as they are not destroyed. So, for instance, let's take a look at this battle station right here. It's going to cost you 3 coins, and if you destroy it, it's going to give you 5 damage on your opponent. However, the important thing to note is this number down here. Now, there's 2 kinds of ships that I want to talk about real quick. There are Outpost, which I have 1 in my hand, and then there are, wow, there's other ones that I can't find right now. There we go, perfect example. Then there are just standard ones right here, like this blob wheel. So an outpost means that your opponent has to attack this. They cannot attack you and take away your health points until they destroy this battle station. And by destroy, I mean it goes back into your discard pile. Whereas This blob wheel, since it does not have an outpost on it, means that they have the option to destroy it if they want to. So they can say, you know what, instead of dealing 5 points of damage to this and destroying it and 1 point of damage to you, I'm going to do all 6 points of damage to you, so you have to take 6 damage. So the outposts are going to stay out there, and both of these are going to stay out there. Your opponents will have to attack that before they can attack you, whereas these ones, they will not have to attack. They have the choice to either attack this or to attack you. These do not take damage points. You have to completely destroy it in one go-around. So you can't say, all right, I'm going to put 3 damage on that, and then I'll come back next time. You have to have the full point of damage in order to attack this and successfully destroy it. Now, one more thing I want to mention about these ships, what makes them so good, is when you do put them out like this, what's going to happen is that's going to trigger special abilities. So if you had this mech world out here and you had played this card, you're instantly going to unlock that +2 damage because you have a red and a red. But you're going to go back and forth, drawing cards, buying cards, playing things, attacking each other, until someone loses all of their green health points, and then that person is going to be the loser, and the other person is going to be the winner. And that, in a nutshell, is how Star Realms is played. Ogre Dokery, Star Realms from White Wizard Games, one of my final thoughts. Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, this is the biggest con I have with the game, is that it comes in this little tuck box, and the tuck box is going to get ripped because there's a lot of cards in here, there's a lot of game going on in here, and that is annoying when your tuck box starts to rip. I'm sure they're eventually going to come out with a deluxe edition that'll have more than one copy of the game, and it won't have a tuck box, it'll have an actual box, but for now, the only thing you can get is the tuck box, and that is kind of a bit annoying. Also, this is a deck-building game. There's nothing new or groundbreaking here. There's definitely some cool concepts in here, but if you don't like deck-building games, this is a deck-building game. Also, if you just have a base box, like I do, you can only play 2 players, even though they clearly talk about 3, 4, 5, 6-player versions of the game with different modes and different things like that. So that's a little bit of a con, because you'll get it and you'll be like, oh, it's only 2 players. The last con I have is that it's 20 minutes, which is a double-edged sword. That's awesome that it's only 20 minutes, but that does kind of stink because I've had this complaint from a couple people is that they thought there was going to be more build-up. Like they're building and they're building and they're building, and then while they're still building, someone else has just turned that corner and they're destroying and they're destroying and they're destroying, and they're like, oh, I thought there was going to be more of a build-up. Like I thought it was going to be a little bit more of an epic game. So some people might have that complaint, but I did not. Because moving on to the pros, Star Realms is fantastic. If you like 2-player games, if you like deck-building games, if you like space games, if you like quick-playing, light filler games for 2 people, get this game, period. It is fantastic. This might usurp Dominion and Trains eventually as my favorite deck-building game of all time. It is just that good. Now, I did mention the tuck box. I don't like the tuck box, but when they went with the tuck box route, that means this game is $15 or $20. I think it's $15. $15 in our hobby is ridiculously cheap. You can't buy most expansions for under $15. So getting a fantastic, awesome 2-player game for $15, woo! That's awesome. That's spectacular. Also, 3 players is a lot of fun. If you run into someone who has Star Realms and you have Star Realms, you owe it to yourself to try it, because I really like the 3-player variant of this game. I think it just adds a little bit more choice, a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that. I like it quite a bit. I can't wait to try 4, 5, and 6-player versions of it. I can't wait to try that as well. This was on Kickstarter. This is how you do a Kickstarter right. This game is just pure fun. It's so good. What else do I like about it? I like the ships and how the ships and the bases work completely different. How you can either decide, that you're gonna trash your cards really quick. You're gonna get all red and just trash, so you can have a really nice hand. Or you might just go all green and just be like, destroy, destroy, destroy. I'm going to destroy you before you have the time to build up, a big powerhouse. Or you might just go yellow and just annoy your opponent so much by, you're going to discard 3 cards this turn. Oh, I hate that strategy. Or you can go blue, which is one of my favorite strategies, and just health. It's like, how do you have 70 health points? And be like, because I've just been building up health. Granted, you're not going to be doing too much damage. I like how there's lots of different ways to go in this game. There's numerous paths to victory. I also like the fact that the cards you can purchase is random. Every single time you play this game, the cards that you're going to purchase are going to be random because you shuffle them up and then you build out that row of cards to build. So you might start off with really cheap cards. You might start off with expensive cards. And that's the best when there's like one really expensive good card out there and you know it's just a race to get that card. Oh, I want to get that card. I want to get that card. And then you get it and you're like, I got that card. That card's coming for you in like 2 rounds, bud. Well, probably 3 or 4. I like that a lot. I also like how the bases work. I think that's a really cool concept. You got the Outpost, then you got the regular ones, where you can just say, all right, do I want to attack him and try and take his health points, or do I want to try and take out his base because it's given him special abilities, but it's not that big of a special ability, but it could if it keeps sitting there. I like that little element of choice that you have there. Overall, if you could not tell, Star Realms is fantastic. It's easy to learn. It's fun to play. It's easy to teach. Honestly, in the time you watch this video, if someone had a copy of this next to you, you could probably be starting this game and playing it already. That's how quick and easy this game is. You owe it to yourself to try out this game, and if it sounds like it might be for you, it probably will be. It is a fantastic game. Star Realms from White Wizard Games. Go get it already! It's great! If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below. Also, in the comments below, let me know, do you like the smell of bug spray? I personally really enjoyed it. I remember when I was younger, and I used to go camping a lot, and everybody would be like, I hate that smell. And I just try to conform and be like, yeah, that's a stinky smell. But secretly, I was like, oh, it smells so good. It smells so good. I love that smell. I used to smell myself. I was a weird kid. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube. That was the review for Star Realms. For more reviews and previews, check back at Bauer's Game Corner.